Jammeh Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jammeh, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jammeh Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Bruceby opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited or email us at info@jammehmt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jammeh Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jammeh Money Transfer.
I get it. Albaka. Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Nsila ID soto.
Sorry. I get it.
Bijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka. Mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola sota Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kono kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi manin domorol ni fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moy o diat.
Apelenta
ni barka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la barka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abarka.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Welcome to the brunch.
wherever you are watching us from. This is our weekly analysis and look at current affairs. I'm Lamin Cham, welcoming you once again. Today I'm in the studio with Yusuf Taylor, the editor of Ask and We, just back from the United States, where he's been covering the trial of ex-jungler Sankora, Michael Sankora, that is. Also with me in the studio is Hagi Suwaneh from the United Democratic Party. Hagi, welcome. The youth president, I guess?
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
This week we will take a look at a few issues that has been in the news, starting of course with Hagi, of course, being a member from the opposition United Democratic Party, reaction or perspective of the opposition towards the recent meeting at State House called by the governing National People's Party, NPP, and its, well, in quotes, Grand Alliance members who met first at regional level and then at executive level, coming out to say they were working on a strategy for 2026. We will also take a look at a just published revelation by the online portal The Republic concerning the sales of the former President Yahya Jammeh's assets, new revelations if you like, or maybe in-depth analysis of that and the reaction of the public to that. Like I said, of course, we will go back to the United States in Denver, Colorado, where the trial happened of Sankora. We will look at the significance of the trial on the whole transitional justice system. And then, of course, any order, AOB, as they said. Today, of course, is World Press Freedom Day. We will see also how Gambia has fared in the last 12 months in terms of press freedom. So all these are on the menu today. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Lamin, and then to the viewers in general, the entire Kerefatu crew. Appreciate. I'm glad to be here once again.
Flex, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here on the brunch.
Good. I must also add that we have extended an invitation to the National People's Party. Administrative Secretary Sidi Cisse should have been here, but in the last minute he said they have other engagements this morning, so he couldn't make it. Right, let's go straight to the National People's Party. Last week and the one before, they had a meeting at State House with regional and then executive members of other political parties that they call Grand Alliance. All the members of the alliance came out, or most of them, Fabakary Tombong Jatta of APRC, Maifati of GMC, Hamad Ba of NRP, Dr. Cisse of CA, all came to say that, well, the meeting was very successful and its objective is for them to come together and forge a very close strategy to stop the opposition from ever coming to power. So let me ask you, Hagi, being the youth president of the opposition United Democratic Party, one of the biggest opposition parties, how did you receive that? Are you scared, or are you now, from now on, being, are you being under pressure now to catch up with them? They seem to be a little bit far ahead of you in terms of organization, even though we have some 18 months to go or more before the elections.
Thank you, Lamin. Anyway, I know I had also too. I read it on papers. I heard some of their comments that they are forming another. Oh, they said the grand ruling.
Grand coalition.
Grand
alliance this time.
Grand ruling alliance. Yes. They added the number ruling.
Okay.
Alliance. Anyway, the word, whether it scares me or not, I don't think anybody should be scared of this.
Oh, really?
No.
When you have the ruling party coming with 8 or so numbers, you're not scared.
What was the numbers before? The numbers was almost, they have almost 15 or how many alliances in the last election. So,
but that's the problem. That's why they win. That's how they won.
Anyway, I'm not saying that's not how they won. But what I can understand is this current one is not compared to the last coalition they have formed. But overall, for me, my view is one my view on coalitions is very important in terms of elections, particularly when you want to change regimes. But in the MPP case, what I learned from them is that it is not the coalition strategy. They are not meeting for any strategy as far as coalition is concerned. What I understand from their political grouping is to try to downplay the damages that has been done by the president in recent from the Korite message against the scholars. And
without trying to interrupt, this is interesting. You thought that that meeting they call strategizing meeting was not actually a strategy for them to come together as they claim.
No, it is not.
You think it was just a damage control?
It is a counter. It is a counter to the damage that Barrow has done to shift and divert the views and the opinions of the people on those disturbing messages. He attacked both the media and the religious leaders. So when they call for that sort of grouping, instead of people focus on how the president should correct himself as the leader of the nation, somebody who should be look up to, a mentor to everybody, when he did the damage, for people to try to find a recorrection pace for him, instead they have to do that one to divert people's attention to 2026 election. Whenever you heard that my party is now there, you heard about Ahmad Bar's messages, you heard about all of them coming together in that kind of group, it is going to be clear that people's mind is going to be diverted from those issues. Instead of now national issues to be addressed, we are going to focus on the next election, that is 20 months to come. They will claim we are strategizing. What strategy? No strategy is there. So the only strategy is that to distract the public from the damage that they have already done. Instead of people talking about them, holding them accountable on those issues, because that is generally affecting everybody. If you attack the media today, like what he said, that means you are affecting my life, because that media represent me in raising my voice to ensure what concern me at my house in Sareprasu will now be a concern for the president to address. So instead of the president seeing that as a concern, his enablers will see that will be like a negative blow. So say all of you so instead of addressing it, they will try to cover that damage by this sort of grouping. So it's not scaring to me. Okay. The scaring part for me is that
we are coming to that.
Yeah, instead of the president being held by people who should be his messages in the public, they are the same people who are misleading the same president. Because this grand coalition, I have not seen any reason Gambians will accept, because the democracy that we are now today is backsliding. So a backsliding democracy, there's no sort of coalition that can convince Gambians that this government, current government, can remedy that with the current laws that we have. So I think their grouping should have been like, first of all, what I want to condemn is why State House? Because I know State House is not a property for NPP.
Yeah.
State House is not a property for NRP. So why partisan politics at State House?
Well, they said that they said one, it is the residence of the president.
No, it's not.
So therefore, if somebody wants to visit somebody, if I want to go to you, Hagi, in your village, now you become president, your village or your home has shifted to State House. So if I want to come to you on a courtesy call, I have to come to State House.
This was not a courtesy call.
Well,
the message there was that the Grand Ruling Alliance.
So you mean they should have heard it somewhere, not State House?
Why do they build that what they term as like standard bureaus? They know they have bureaus outside.
Okay.
Mr. Cham, the resources used at State House, those resources were not meant for partisan politics. Yeah. The State House premises is not meant for partisan politics.
You thought they use some resources there?
Of course, they must drink water. Who bought the water?
But maybe from the president's private.
How do you know that? Did he give you any transparent account of that? You didn't. But so we will be.
You are not sure whether it also came from.
It was done at NPP bureau.
My mind will not
on that. But since it is done at State House, even the maid at State House there is paid by us.
Yeah. So the one who cleans the meeting form.
The meeting form, the table arrangement.
Use our time.
They use our time. In fact, they use even the carpet they use there to work on to promote the partisan politics on that one is wrong. Morally, it's very wrong.
Maybe they brought his private system to microphones and stuff.
Maybe anything. The electricity. What I'm trying to say, the electricity, everything, the bills are all paid by us. So it is meant for the president's resident to serve the general purpose of all Gambians. And it is not every Gambian who is at MPP or NRP.
That's right.
So state resources should be meant for state functions. Partisan politics should happen either at a borough's own house or at MPP political bureaus or at a neutral person different from state, like where state functions should happen and state resources are being used in it. So I think it's an abuse of power. One. The last thing I want to touch about this thing, MPP, the strategy is just as usual. It is to strategize again. We heard about NRP leader when he stood in a press conference attacking Gainakos.
Gainakos,
Hartmen, that they are now, Gambia is now probably facing a terrorist threat.
Yes, just like.
And those Gainakos are the very people who will insinuate it. They are the very one who is going to lead it. They're from Burkina Faso, you come to the Malis, and now they are coming to the Gambia.
Probably he's trying to sound opinion.
No. The opinion, that's why I'm coming. The
Probably he's want to sound opinion.
The opinion is
that what is coming.
The opinion is to get the other tribal areas to attack those Fula people, that maybe the Fulas are coming to destroy our country, this and that, then the Fulas will see that that tribe is also trying to attack the Fulas. Again, you see Barrow, again, the Mandinka society came in there. That Mandinka society, Soko Mandinka society also, when they came in there, again, maybe UDP might not like it. So now, when the UDP supporters said, let's unite, or UDP said, Gambia, we should not promote tribalism in our partisan politics. Then the Mandinka tribe also will see themselves in it. Because that's what he done in 2021. He failed to invite the Mandinka society. That became a topic.
You mean now, he used this one to invite them so that they will talk about it.
A kind of balance. So instead of now we face the problem of Gambian people, that is the market conditions that we are all facing together, that who doesn't know Mandinka, doesn't know Fura, doesn't know Wolof. Now the Fulas will say, hey, Misuko set a John. Won't happen there. So the Mandinkas also see all full cross, they will be so Barrow, this is the cards he's playing. Okay. So the grouping does not mean anything good for a strategy only to unite us, but a strategy to divide us. Because you had what my party said recently. My party said it very clear that they rather die than seeing an opposition, particularly UDP, to come to power here.
Didn't he later clarify that he meant, that's what he meant was that, I mean, he's just emphasizing this severity of the opposition coming, and that's what he said.
What I'm trying to say is my party is speaking to both Mandinkas, both Gambians in general. We understand all these dialects. If he said it in English, we'll understand it. In Wolof, we will understand it. Okay. Mandinka will understand it. My party was speaking in a point of a clear view of how Gambians view him when he was a minister. The similar contract was there. Okay. You cannot be a Gambian having the right to reside in this country. You said if I come to power, you will go to exile. What will take you to exile? What have you done wrong? Okay. What powers do I have to send you exile? It is only when you violated something that is the law which govern all of us together. You know, I have the principles to safeguard the country by using the rule of law. Might be that threat. You know, I will not compromise the law for any friendship. I cannot compromise the law for any relationship. The law is the supreme, and the law is the one that I took oaths to ensure this country is being ruled based on those laws. I swear that I will serve this country without ill will, affection, or fear. So if you know, I will not compromise those principles. And if I come, I will do exactly what the law said. Okay. The threat is if you violate that law, you will excuse yourself. So my utterances is nothing that has to do with the general view that some people have viewed, but it has something to do with corruption.
He said their focus is 2026 because they know they have to cross that Rubicon. They're going to do something.
Exactly.
He's talking about the solidity of the Grand Alliance that you said that you just dismiss as just.
I don't underrate on numbers. I know even if it's one vote, we decide on simple majorities.
Yes.
But let me tell you, apart from him, maybe and his spouse, because I cannot speak on his children. They could have an independent view who they should vote for.
So you would not support?
I don't know.
How can you be so
if you canvas the entire mice nation's wide support, cannot win him a seat there.
What about if
cannot give him the seat of Nyako?
I'm not saying that's one member of the Grand Alliance. Let's go to APRC. They claim they have a lot of support.
No, APRC for me has disappeared since. You see. No, APRC has disappeared since. Let me tell you that. You know, they have played a psychological game on Barrow, which they succeeded very well. But I've been saying this since you and I have been conducting.
Okay, you know what? We'll come in details. Let's have Yusuf tell us perspective on this because for you we will not be able to exhaust it. Okay, tell us first. Do you agree with the venue of the Grand Alliance meeting at State House? I mean, the government officials have come out to say, well, that is the residence of the president. So naturally, they see nothing wrong. They said Jawara, Jammeh have all had meetings there, at the presidency. So this is not new. They didn't see any problem with that. One, did you see that? And two, he said it's not scared. He said the opposition is not scared. In fact, he said the meeting is not so much of, strategizing as they call it, but they were there to control damage, to deflect attention from what he said was some gaffes that come from President Barrow. I must say at this point, and I keep repeating, we invited the NPP National Executive or National Administrative Secretary, CDC, to come here so that he can, clarify some of these things. But
at least let's hear it from them.
Last minute, as we always do in the brunch, to try to
they want to hear alone.
All sorts of opinion. That's but then last minute he texts that they are going to be busy on something else this morning. What are your perspectives? Perhaps we can get some perspective that's a little bit different from Hagi.
From Hagi.
Yeah. No, thank you. I think Hagi makes some very interesting points. With some of them, I have no choice but to agree with some of the points which he has made, which is that it's obvious that State House should be a non-partisan venue location, right? Fine. In the past, it's always been like that.
Yeah, they said so. They said Jawara, Jammeh.
Yes, those things have been happening in Gambia. And in fact, it was one of the main reasons why people decided to vote for President Barrow. That he would change that status quo. But we've seen that even since when he's come, he's not changed that status quo. Incumbency in Africa, not just in Gambia, right? And, increasingly we have to have a wider perspective about how our politics is in Africa, in Gambia. Incumbency is a problem. You will see almost every election, the incumbent has access to many resources which they use for their partisan issues. Is wrong. That's what we're talking about, level playing field. We need to level the playing field. For example, you cannot go into a election. Come into presidential election, you release a statement and say, any vehicle that is passing at Denton Bridge, hand it over, we are going to use it. This is an extension. As long as it's a public resource,
yes.
I believe that should not be used. The NPP has their bureaus. In fact, if you look at them, very big also. Some of them, fancy, you could say. Well,
President is very, very, very proud of those.
So why not go to those bureaus?
I see.
So to have your engagement there. Even CA had their
Congress
in one of and it was on one of the NPP.
Oh, it was an NPP.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't go there.
I said somebody.
No wonder the Grand Alliance is working.
Yeah, you could say. So, but it should work outside just like that. It should work in those bureaus. You will not hear if, like he was saying. That's why I had to chime in a little bit. If they did this engagement in one of their bureaus. This gentleman will not have that opportunity to say that they are using state resources for...
even if state resources were used there, it wouldn't have been very apparent.
It wouldn't have been that apparent, but doing it in State House, it's so obvious and it's so clear that you are highlighting that you're using state resources for this kind of things. And then,
but how do we know it's in state resources? I said President Barrow could have...
The premises alone is a manifestation.
Okay. And I agree with the premise. But the water could have come from President Barrow's pocket.
It could have, but
maybe the venue, I can agree the venue may have.
But
And who will order the drink? There might have been cookies and drinks and stuff like that.
Go on. I wouldn't want to speculate, but I just wanted to highlight that if they had done it in the NPP, they will not even be talking about.
They wouldn't have any room for it.
Whose water is it? Is it my taxpayers or is it his taxpayers? Because he's a UDP supporter, and all of us we are paying tax.
Yeah.
Gambians are paying tax, so then the tax should be in a public coffers for national usage. So I think definitely.
Okay, well, let's come to the significant. They said they strategized. At first they met regional representatives and then executives, and they had a closed door meeting. Now when they came out, each of them, they praised the meeting and said it is a very good step towards strategizing 2020. They said they will do everything in their power. Of course, Ahmad Ba came to clarify that doesn't mean using force, but they will do everything in their power to stop the opposition from ever winning. Do you think they are actually strategizing, or they're coming together will give them, the NPP, any more impetus that they have got in the last election cycles?
I think that these meetings that they are having is telling. It's telling about where the party is trying to achieve. That's the NPP and their alliance.
Yeah.
It's we all know most of these parties, they are held together by very few or one people or one person, right? So now most of the time these parties,
which ones are those, for example?
no, the party leaders. Let's be
Okay, let's start with APRC. APRC claimed to be a big party.
Yes.
So if you say it's just...
APRC, nobody can say was a small. APRC was a ruling party.
Babakari was there. So Babakari at least brought, brought some people.
Yes, of course. But we've seen.
You don't want to say that on
APRC.
Yeah.
We've seen the split in APR, and this is exactly the point that I'm coming to.
Okay.
So most of these parties and their alliance, one of their biggest challenge they have is to if you have an alliance, even keeping your alliance intact before election is
a problem.
Is a challenge. I think that this is partly the reason. He's alluded to some other things. I will not go to that, but I believe they are trying to, because look, if they don't come and have meetings and address the challenges within the party or issues, then what will end up happening? The party and their alliance can disintegrate before they. And let's be clear, in their statements that they issued, they wanted to project the word. Yeah, and I've seen somebody jump on that word, the word project. They wanted to project a unified coalition.
Yes, that's right.
You see, so what you see, and in politics, it's not always that what is true is what people believe.
Yeah.
Sometimes what you project is what people can believe. And the more that they keep projecting this, the more they are going to emphasize, people will get to believe that these people have a united coalition, and that's what they're trying to achieve. Yes, so, and of course, that's why he will try to break that down, that is not, they are just projecting, but that is not the reality, perhaps, you see. But I think, right now, where they are in a much more advanced stage with regards to trying to consolidate the coalition which they have.
They are ahead of
they are definitely ahead of the opposition. And the opposition will find it very difficult if they don't
start now. Okay.
Because of time.
And one thing I'm going to do, Hagi, I'm going to take this back to you. You see, the NPP, like he said, is projecting a united front. So that there'll not be even a room of, let's say, disunity or even rumors among them. Whereas the impression people are getting is that the opposition parties themselves have internal problems to deal with before they can even come together. So you know what I'm trying to say?
I understand very well.
In the UDP has spent the last 2 years, discussing whether it's going to be Dabo or it's going to be Talib Bensouda, or it's going to be Rohit Malik Law, or it's going to be Yankuba of Brikama. That matter is still not addressed. As recent as 2 weeks ago, we even had Doi of all parties. disagreements coming over as to
Yep.
whether somebody should go or should not. So it looks like what the NPP, what Taylor said, might be true that NPP, is putting in a strategy projecting that they are a united force, whereas their opponents are yet even to come to clean their own house before they come to this.
Sources are not revealed. Sources are not revealed. Like you protect your source, I will protect my source.
Okay.
But you see, I have information with me here. If you go through those, you know that MPP is the most broke party as far as unity is concerned.
But how do they manage to put
The projection is false. That they are trying to unite is false. The first Sunday meeting they have. If you like, you can contact Sirfo Sonko for this. A prominent member of the coalition is within there. Engage me through that meeting on call. Some of the messages were breaking, but we were monitoring each and every step of the discussion.
Even in those closed doors.
Is it a closed door? That's exactly what I'm talking about.
There was a closed door.
Yes, for them it's a closed door. But for me, it's a connected door to me. Yes.
Even the press were not invited.
But somebody in the prominent member of the coalition is there connecting us.
How?
Ask my
Even to
will tell you.
this would be to the grand.
I'm telling you.
The grand coalition better listen.
I don't. One thing in my politics, I don't deceive.
Okay.
And I don't lie.
I hope you are not trying to.
No. I don't. One thing. Buba, if Buba Gajo is there, can attest it. The time APRC was trying to go and join coalition with Barrow, all the discussions they had, I use my intelligence and get facts from them. When I just wrote a short message on my Facebook page, my own professor Duduja attacked me. It was a story everywhere. So, but I know what I got, and I got it through telephone, and I got it in an audio format, almost 30 minutes.
Interesting.
So, from the vehicles that were promised, the reason why they believe they are joining the MPP, Barrow and the MPP, all were highlighted in the discussion. I got it with me.
Where?
So when I started challenging, I don't want to go in detail because there are internal things.
Of course, I know.
So Professor Dudu attacked challenge me. He said a debate on radio. I said don't try it. If you try it, it's not going to work for you. But then I gave the story to Buba.
That was last time.
The last time I'm talking about.
Okay.
This time around, the prominent ones that headed that coalition are the very ones in that coalition trying to undermine, but pretending that they are very well okay with how the move is going. So that's why I said MPP, that is not a strategy. And they know very well. Because in the meeting, it was very heated from some of them were absent. So there are questions that were raised there. Those will only say reps. And they were trying to get the political heads, the leaders. But some leaders were absent. And the ones in the meeting were not happy about that one. And in the Congress, there were utterances made in the Congress. So those utterances, there is a fraction at MPP who doesn't like the fraction. And these are serious alliance of the alliance in their coalition. So there's no unity. The sense is that is to use it as a mind game to deceive and mislead Gambians. But the overall objective is some strategies at MPP feel like Barrow did blunders. Attacking the Muslim leaders is a non-start. So going against the media is a negative campaign. How do we remedy this situation?
So you mean all those were discussed and then?
Of course, no, I'm not saying all this. I said this strategist. His strategist think that they should call for this thing. This is the only solution to divert the attention of the people. But there was, from my ears, what I heard from that discussion, there was nothing that can be a tangible discussion from a responsible leader that would be a threat or like a solution to win elections. All what I know, there's a strategy that will come in. Okay. They will use the Mandinka section to go against Mandinkas. They will use the Fulas section to go against the Fulas. This was serious discussion I had from them. Now we will not hear any Ahmadba attacking Mandinkas. But Ahmadba, all this attack is going to be against Fulas. So the Mandinka section also will not attack any Fula within the MPP, but they will attack their own tribes. So they will play that tribal game to try to divide and get what they want. The only permanent strategy I got is that, and you can call Triple Sokopo because this was a loudspeaker. We are following it, sitting comfortably, reading point by point. If they want to challenge me, let them call me for anywhere. I can prove it to them. But what I'm trying to tell you here is,
whatever has been discussed there, at least there was a meeting.
The meeting is to mislead. That's what I'm also telling the public that the meeting has nothing to do with unity.
So what is the reaction of the opposition?
Our reaction is
doing?
One belief I want to assure Gambians that this current coalition I have seen, trust has already been broken. I know some Gambians. No, nobody trusts these people.
The Grand Alliance.
Nobody trusts these people. There's no trustworthy politician within that Grand Alliance. Starting from Barrow to the last person. Barrow is quoted in a broad daylight. His hand in our pocket, stealing. Of course, ask me.
Why, how is
of course, go to Fajar. The land there, is it owned by Barrow?
Well, that is debatable.
It is not debatable. The constitution is very clear. The state land act is very clear. Mr. Chairman, the state land act says if you have more than one property, you are not entitled to a state land.
All right. We also it was a reserve, official. We had all that.
No, let me tell you, whether it's a reserve or unreserved, but the constitution already disqualify him.
Okay. Do you know of any other property here? Allocated by the state?
What?
Barrow, do you know of any other property allocated to him by the state?
No, that only one I knew.
So that
one is a prime state land meant for the state functions. Okay. Chief Justice residence.
Now you come to the point. Official reserve residence.
Okay.
Official residence. Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So our strategy.
But he was given to it by the legally by the Minister of
abusing the law to
Minister of
abusing the
local government.
That also, let me tell you, that was a war.
Now, if I applied for a land and the minister gave it to me, how can I say I acquired illegal?
How can the president is the supreme above the minister? If the president doesn't request it, the minister will not give it. That would be a bribe.
But if other people like me, I applied and I got it, will you say I got it illegal?
No, the constitution gave you the right to apply. But I'm saying that's a limit. If you have more than two, the law says.
But I'm telling you, which other one do you know that he has?
No, not the state should give you more than two. It is yourself.
But does Barrow have one?
No, Barrow have more than 7. His account, according to the I don't know, the asset asset declaration, he has more than $200 million in his account. And he's also having more than 7 plots.
We are talking about legality and morality. Okay, you said morality.
No, this is illegal
money. So illegally, the argument I had from the opposition leaders was that they believe that land is different from other lands assigned by the state for residence. Well, this one is a reserved official residence. That's the argument we had.
No, that's the argument we had. No, that side. Let me help you. That side. He said that side is to protect and then make sure that we cut waste.
Okay.
And make meaningful spending, because today the chief justice might not need it because he's a Gambian. But nobody know tomorrow whether Gambia will have a chief justice, which we don't call for, but we can have a chief justice outside the country.
So whether it's a chief justice or not, if once it is argued that it's a reserved officially for official resident, it's on account of that alone.
Not only a reserve, it was a developed property already. It's a developed property already.
On account of that alone, you can argue, okay, maybe the president should be the last person who should try to even act.
Exactly.
I'm trying to say morally what you're saying. I can understand that is okay.
But legally also it's wrong.
No, okay, I don't know.
Legally
is a problem.
No, legality is a very correct one. It's very wrong.
Yeah, but maybe you say morally. Okay, yeah, maybe if I were president, I have so many means to get properties. Maybe I will try to avoid, small talks like that. Yeah, maybe you could say if it is you, you would avoid that. Okay. No, but legally, we have to wait for that to be debated. No. Let's move on. You have not still answered.
I'm coming to that point.
Yeah.
I will not dodge you.
What the opposition is doing in terms of strategy.
I will not dodge you.
I told you that the impression people have that the opposition have internal problems to look at, address, before they could come out with a united force. So you tell me, isn't that the case now?
People don't understand democracy internally and a problem. Democracy cannot be our problem. We cannot try to say people will not be perceiving people to be potential. And that's why I like Hussein Odabo. He believes building leaders. He don't believe building anybody's opinion to block you from speaking your mind. He's a man who is debatable. You face him and he'll invite you to debate. He'll invite you to express your opinion. If it is about UDP as an opposition, because if you talk about the opposition here, they'll say it's UDP. So us internally, we believe that it is the right for everybody to be perceived as a potential candidate. We believe it is the choice of the people to choose a candidate. And we believe the party also have a law that guide any process as far as selecting or nominating people is concerned. So to stop people from expressing those views or interpreting it as a problem, I think that's a misunderstanding of democracy. The party is called a democratic party. It's not just for a mere reason. It's for a reason for us to have the environment for each and every citizen, a member, whether or a non-member of the party, to be able to express yourself without fear being suppressed or fear being similarly campaigned against. So that has nothing to do with the party's internal unity. That's a choice. And the choice is, my choice and your choice could not be different. Your choice and his choice could not be different. So those different choices, at the end of the day, they are guided by a law. Whatever the law decides, your choice and my choice has to follow what the law says. So the beauty of internal democracy is here. We must be tolerant.
So you don't call it an internal problem?
There's no internal problem. I'm telling you honestly from my heart, I've not seen any internal problem within the UDP. I've not seen any single thing that can distract UDP from, inshallah, winning this 2026 election. I can tell you, in the last 72 or 72 hours, we have made intensive meetings on strategies. But I believe no politician, like what I've seen from that grand coalition, will do the kind of, you call a press conference and say, we have strategized. No, it's misleading. It's to poison the mind of people.
You are doing your
if you do your strategies means that keep them and work on them.
So you will not come out with...
No, we will not tell anybody this is our strategy. Nobody will force us by those false actions to compare us, to come and tell you this is what we have also done. No. So we are focused, and the focus is the price. Which is the price? Is Barrow's incompetency, corruption. He's ruining the lives and livelihood of people.
Okay, you are not admitting that NPP is ahead of you in terms of the optics, like he said.
No, from what I followed, the discussion we have made, from what I followed, I've not seen any step ahead of us.
What people are seeing is a unified alliance led by the NPP. I mean, as Flex has just highlighted, that's what we are seeing. I'm trying to get from you what in the opposition is being done to counter that in terms of movements.
No, in terms of movement, what we believe is, as at now, there are a lot of issues going on, and I'm not be specific.
Okay.
But there are a lot of issues going, and then like anything, just to liberate this country. So, and I know when democracy is degraded, when democracy degrades, when democracy is going to backslide in the ditch that we came from, no politician will allow yourself to be an architect of that.
Okay.
Whether you are an opposition, like I'm telling you, there are enablers in Barrow today who are also enablers for change. But they're still in the MPP. They still convey their meetings. Some of them are ministers. Some of them serve in the highest positions. But they don't like what is going on. And they are doing their utmost best to ensure, yes, we might be in the system, but this system cannot continue. Because some of them see this way.
That's not what they are saying to the public.
No, they cannot say that to public. When you were there in before 2016, they send them public, but they are giving you the information. Where in they? They were.
All right,
so this thing is a strategy. And the strategy is let them do what they think can get them where they want to go. But let them know this country belongs to Gambians. And today, the cost of living at Latukunda market, if you go to the market today, what I buy there is what MPP buy. The electricity, 37% increase on it. I know you know what happens. NAVEC is just recently demanding that car power CP is just a burden on government, and they have now capacity to serve. But government is just trying to block it. Why? Because of corruption.
Okay.
So that corruption
we'll come to that.
No, Mr. Jammeh,
we now move on to the other topic.
You have a very intriguing. I think you should have a one-on-one with this gentleman. Yes.
The other thing we're talking about is the ID card issue. The Director General of the Gambia Immigration Department has confirmed that they have in fact sent a team to Mauritania to issue ID cards to Gambians who are eligible. They argued that this is a response from government because people in there have complained and have demanded that let them be given documentation because otherwise they face deportation and other harassments. Now, that's how the Immigration Department justified this move. But we have heard from the opposition and clearly even civic society to say, well, they believe that this matter, well, the opposition politicians said it is in fact an ulterior motive to rig the elections. That's how they put it. It is aimed to register non-Gambians so that they can have access to voters' cards, since ID card is one criteria that can help you acquire voters' cards. Other people have said, well, what they can't understand is the immigration can't even satisfy demands internally here. Why do they have the sudden capacity and the sudden justification or need to go outside to issue ID cards to Gambians? Or they say, in fact, ID cards should not be given outside the country, according to them, because it's normally passports and consular cards or travel documents that are needed for such purpose. So, in any case, the immigration and the government is under pressure, to do more because their explanation does not satisfy anybody. What do you think? What do you make of it before I come? Because he's a politician, so let's last with him.
So I think thank you first of all for the publications. We've seen them on the Standard
various media
newspaper in particular, and other media houses as well, flagging this important issue. It appears very strange. The reason why, as many of you will know, I'm a very strong diaspora advocate.
Yes.
And even myself, I consider myself a former diaspora or still a diasporan, because once a diasporan, still always a diasporan. So it's unfortunate because this has also raised up the issue of if the government can actually go and get and allow people to have national ID cards outside the country. What about Gambians in the diaspora who want to register to vote for elections? Why don't they streamline that? And in fact, I think I'm very worried and concerned that our documents can fall in the hands of non-Gambians. And we have seen investigations have been released. I know we are going to talk about the Republic investigation, but they've also published, that time was in Republic, I believe. Previously was a publication that they issued, Malagan, about how our ID cards, our documents, our passports are being bought by some people who are non-Gambians.
Even the government is disputing the 3,000 people that the United States government said is due for deportation. So government wanted to see whether they are Gambians or not. Whether they are Gambians.
And in fact, that is one of the reasons why they wanted to put us on the list.
Yeah.
But we are currently not on the list at the moment.
Okay.
We are on the standby list. If we don't address these issues,
we will be on the list.
We will be on the list. Now, how does that play into this? Now, instead of tightening up,
we are in fact
it seems like we're going the other way around. Okay, I think this is a very worrying issue, because in my view, if Gambians outside the country need documents, normally, because I lived outside the country, and I've had an instance where you can get an emergency document. Yes? Travel document, emergency document, whatever emergency that they need to identify you. And that can be used to identify you on a temporary basis. You go and you deal and get the proper document that you need. If it's passport, you go and you see where you get it. For me, I think this opens up a whole can of worms. And it's multi-pronged, it's multifaceted. I'm not going to... He's here, he'll talk about the political aspects of it. But just looking at it from the situation where the Gambia finds ourselves, because of... It's not just the United States. Let me get something right for people who might be watching. Fine, yes, the United States might be the one country who is very emboldened to go out and say, blah, blah, you people, we have 3,000, we have to check. But other countries are also watching. Other countries are also watching. Perhaps they have not acted. But when people are going to their countries and they are seeing all kinds of people coming into their countries, and when they show those people, they show that they have Gambian documents, and they start having questions about some of those people, you best be sure that they are investigating, they are watching and monitoring. That's why our documents need to be tight. Our authorities need to be very, very careful. And for me, it's the thing that worries me the most is that government is demonstrating that, yes, they can actually go out and register Gambians abroad. But now they are showing us they don't want to do that. They want to do whatever they want to do. And for me, I find that very, very worrying. Even before talking about the whole problems, I think this is problematic. And
so you said, even on the account of security of our national document alone, you think this move is unwise?
It's very unwise. Very, very unwise. I mean, it's obvious. Every country, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that Gambia is unique every country, yes, you will have one or two people who will try to come and get your national documents.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Those people who are looking to get national documents, they are watchful and aware of countries who they are very easy, vulnerable countries.
Yeah.
Because of what? Either corruption or because of not enough checks
Scrutiny,
in their, systems
for political reasons.
For political reasons.
Yeah.
And these things happen. They are happening, and we must put up safeguards to address these things.
I think we are right, even in terms of protecting our resources alone, because you see, the implication of giving citizenship documents, national documents to a foreigner, the implication is increasing your population unnecessarily, and of course putting pressure on the little resources you have. The Minister of Health 3 years ago stated in Parliament, when he was asked about the frequent scarcity of drugs in public, he said, look, you know what? 30% of our medicines goes to people who come from across the border. But why we have to give it to them? Because they come with our national papers. That's what the minister, Dr. Samata, said in Parliament.
Yes,
that 30% of our medicine goes to people who come from across the border. But we have to give them because they come with our national papers. I think that is enough of an implication of giving national papers to people who doesn't live here. Only come here for health, tourism, or to come and vote. Because if you give a national paper to somebody, he obviously will be able to get our voters card.
Yeah.
So even on the account of the security of our national papers and natural resources or resources of the country alone, it is very necessary, imperative for us to scrutinize who gets our documents. Now we come to the political aspect. Politicians said it's a measure to rig the elections. How dare you come with such a conclusion?
Before we speak or talk about anything, we don't look at it at the perspective of UDP as a political party. We will start as responsible people who are citizens first before any political party. And we will look at it at the angle of the country before at the angle of a political party. Because without the country, we will not have a political party existing.
Oh, okay.
And without people, there will be no country. So we as a party, we will never address issues on the basis of UDP. We will only address it in the general perspective of Gambian people. One most important thing people should not forget in this scheme is that, like I said, the borough political strategy is this kind of things. It has nothing to do with unity within themselves. Because Gambia here, 2 weeks ago, we've been trying for some of our family members to even get an ID card. But simple mayor form cannot be available to give them the access to get ID card. So that is one part of it. And then an ID card of Gambia, if you go to Senegal here, you cannot even withdraw money from any Western Union or a bank. If you present your ID card, Gambian ID card, they will ask you a passport. Yes, you can work with your Gambian ID card to go to anywhere in Senegal. But even at the other part of Senegal, you are taxed to pay a month with a Gambian ID card. Yes, of course, you are charged money. If you want to go to Mali, check it. You use the route.
But is that not very much a violation of ECOWAS protocol?
Whether it is violating the ECOWAS,
I'm not because the ID card.
Yeah, I'm just trying to tell you that the less significant importance of a Gambian ID card outside of the country. If you want to secure your nationals, the agreement in Mauritania was not about Gambian ID card. The agreement in Mauritania was that people were crying that they don't have access to Mauritanian alien documents.
Alien.
Yes. And if they don't get access to that one, what happens is they will either be arrested or be maltreated. So if Gambia want to use
the undocumented they're talking about, you are saying it has to do with Gambians not being able to acquire Mauritanian residence
permit. So as a responsible government who is serious in tackling irregular migration, Mauritania is been seen as a transit point for irregular migration. So if your citizens are there, I don't know whether some of them permanently live there, but very minimal. I know some are going to school, but any Gambian who is going to school in Mauritania will have their full documents. So those who are there, they are undocumented. You should exactly know those people are trying to have a transit to go to Europe for irregular migration. Either use the Saharan way, or to use Morocco, or to use what Mauritania to Spain. Or Tunisia. Yeah, or Tunisia. So why would a government find a mobile team to go and document that with ID card instead of encouraging them to come back to the country by using consular cards and also means of transport to get them back here? The objectives of those people there should be non-force if the intention is clear. If the intention is to protect Gambians. And that will beg me the question to ask. It hadn't been the 150,000 jobs was created. I know today, those kind of youths who are struggling there today in search of a greener pasture to Europe wouldn't have been there in the first place. So, but 2026 is here at the corner. And we all knew supplementary is coming.
Yeah, supplementary registration.
Is coming. So, if supplementary registration is coming, and then we have the experience in 2021, your Toma, namesake Lamin Chan, it is not a third person who was coordinating. It's myself. Almost over 4 buses were transported from Mauritania to Gambia here, to register them in Gambia here. When they came, they dumped them at the buffer zone. I had the information around 3 a.m. But before they depart also, we got the information that they are coming. So when they arrived around 3 a.m. Night, I confronted them at the buffer zone. But I pretended to be MPP. So when I first approached, there was one lady who is called like Mama. Is it Mama Jola or lady? I don't know. It's kind of a they name him as a Jola name. But the lady speaks fluent Portuguese, and I speak Portuguese fluently. So in my interaction with them, I saw Bissau Guineans in them, but they pretend to be Gambians. They are in Bissau and they speak Portuguese. That they are Creoles. Their Portuguese is not clear. But if you speak Creole, you'll be able to understand with somebody who speaks Portuguese.
Yes, of course.
That's where I begged the number of Lamin Cham. When I got the contact of Lamin Cham there, I said then I'll call Lamin Cham to be. They said Lamin Cham. They keep repeating the name of Lamin Cham. He called me. He was the one calling, but when he came here, he disappeared.
You mean Lamin Cham of
Lamin Cham of MPP campaign manager?
You see, I invited NPP here.
They cannot be here.
But they didn't.
No, they will not be here. You mentioned my name today. So when I started using my number to call Lamin Cham, I called him and said, but how can you, I pretend to be MPP, how can you bring people here? And then they are hungry, they don't have a place to go. He said, no, I went to Banjul, I want to try to find a food for them. In the morning, early morning, I woke up again and called the same Lamin Cham, using the same lady. So they took them from buffer zone, bring them to Bundum Police. We work together to Bundum Police. I consistently keep communicating to Lamin Cham. So when
you pretended to be a NPP,
I'm just telling you this for
intelligence officer.
Yes, I'm not going to reveal any of my sources, but this one is direct communication with Lamin Cham. So when he suspected that this person I'm talking to could be otherwise, he could not further continue with me. So the chaos started there because these people, they say they are hungry, and Lamin Cham promised them that they're going to bring food and in fact slaughter a cow there so that they that lady was so stubborn. She said she's from Talinding, but how can somebody from Talinding spend the night at buffer zone and Bundum Police?
So you are saying definitely those people are non-Gambians.
No, I attested that most of them are non-Gambians. Most of those people are non-Gambians. But the game was now to play how to get an alcalo attestation.
Yes.
For them at that time to give most of, because the lady showed me a foreign passport ID card, passport, and also a Gambian Jammeh era ID card. And she said she was the mobilizer for Jammeh in Mauritania. Attested to me. She said it's APRC. But that lady is not a Jola in fact. But they call him Mama Jola. But she's not Jola. So
it means that this the system that existed under Jammeh, that's giving
the same line recruited by Barrow. And that's why you see the Fabakato Monjata and others are maintained.
So how as an opposition, knowing all what you claim to have known, are going to do to stop, as you said, registration of non-Gambians?
No, I will not violate any of those here. 2020, this is what happened to UDP. They will force us to say anything that we want. This time around, no. But this country, we must know exactly, the country belongs to all of us, not UDP.
Okay.
This is called Gambian National ID Card. I quoted Ahmad Bah here. He was accusing the community of trying to build a terror link to Gambia.
Yeah, okay.
So a serious government, from what I have from the deputy head of Mission, the former dump rejected National Assembly of Busumbala, immorally been appointed in Mauritania by Adama Barrow. Sekou Bajaj.
Yeah.
Before your news, his statement, audio, broke all this brouhaha.
Oh, okay, that was a...
He said that the Gambian immigration is on their way to Mauritania. They are coming to register and give Gambians an ID card. But the requirement is that if you have a passport or an expired ID card or a birth certificate, you are qualified. But even if you don't have none of this, come. I mean, on the line, none of this. Come. These are professionals, and they will interrogate you. Then from there, if you are qualified, they will give you an ID card. Gambian ID card, I mean. I don't know if you get my language.
You said...
Even if you get supporting document of ID card, expired ID card, no Gambian passport, no birth certificate, no Alcalo attestation, none of those. Still that the immigration officer on the ground is very professional to know you came from Sabi.
Okay.
He's a magician to know.
So you want to believe, like, that like, I saw somebody arguing that, okay, for example, some of the requirements you have to get before you can have an ID card can't be available in Mauritania.
If they can,
like Alcalolo and Sefolo attestations, that for people who have never got any of the documents, certainly no Alcalolo or Sefo are in Mauritania.
Let me tell you, if the game is planned ahead before the immigration is there, Alcalo attestations can be access to the embassy, because it's a game ahead plan. They plan it ahead, so they know the number they want to target there. They can have their empty forms there. They can have birth certificates they're empty. These were the tactics used in 2021. Then the only thing you need, if you don't say don't have, you will come, you will fill the form for you, then stamp it. It's already been stamped by Alcalo here. They say Alcalo they want to get it from. Then the only require is your name, your address, and we will find a mother for you and a father in Gambia. Then the immigration have no choice to give you.
So the immigration would know that these are fraudulent process, but they will still even I thought they are professionals.
If the immigrations were independent enough, not been manipulated by corrupt politicians, they will not make an inch out of Gambia for a purpose of an ID card. They will not do it. But the entire scheme is dubious, nefarious, and is a threat to our national security. Let me tell you, this Mali issue is going on. We knew, we had seen it. Okay, the Burkina Faso issue is going. We knew. This country, the ministers kept repeating that Gambia, we had the SIS, whether deliberately or mistakenly, said that Gambia is a vulnerable state for terrorism. We had that in 2020, around 2020 or 2021. I don't know what around that end. The DG came with these allegations. So the minister also recently, tourism, even though it's not his domain, but he elaborated on it. That's Ahmad Ba, because he doesn't care what domain falls under him. He will speak on anything that he thinks he can just go and then trample on the minds of the people. So he said so. Regardless of whatsoever imagination they think, but Africa countries must be protected. So we should not make our national document, vulnerable to people who might be causing us threat. So this is an exchange of a national ID card for a vote. Okay. It is not to protect Gambians, but it is to sell your national ID card for the purpose of having a vote from that person. So if they have it, what are they going to do here? Do we know? They can come and vote, yes, but after voting, they have access to your national document. The damage they are going to do in Mauritania or in Guinea-Bissau or in Mali, it could be done in the name of Gambian, but by a non-Gambian.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm talking about those implications, like our medicine, the medicine in our hospital.
Exactly.
The minister himself said the medicine go out.
The same minister stood there and said his ministry is one of the most corrupt ministry. But at the end of the day, today, what is happening? If you talk about the corruption there, he will come and slap you on your face. He will say it's not true. So, but what I'm trying to tell you is, UDP and any other serious political party, we have conveyed a meeting about it. We strategize it. We know what we are doing. So we know it's a pilot project very well. After here, this was 3 years, 2023. Okay. We knew this thing. So before I come, what we do is we know their points. Is from Mauritania is going to be a joint Guinea-Bissau and Guinea-Conakry. From there, they are targeting Sierra Leone also. From there, they are targeting Nigeria, connected to Benin and Dume. This is how they want to go in.
Wow.
But the issue is they are contemplating in bringing in diaspora voting now. But they cannot also bring in diaspora voting without knowing if they go ahead, their numbers exist in Africa here that can turn numbers in the Western area. That is the scheme started. So the project is not about anything those with the Gambian people being protected or being helped on national issues. No, the project is for them to establish a good number of voter population outside Gambia to know that these people can challenge the diaspora in a combination of the number we have in the Gambia can give us the margin in 2026. That's the tactic. Mark my words. After here, it's going to be Guinea-Bissau. And the Guinea-Bissau team was sent since 2023 after the election. They wanted to use it as a form of recruiting NPP members there. I don't know how far we're there, but we also have what we have there. We are doing what we should be doing, and we are ahead of them. Let them understand that.
Okay.
Talking means that what the media team is doing, they're talking, but what they are leaving behind is more bigger than what they are saying. So the issue is, if the MPP think this country is sleeping, I think it's a mistake. But Barrow will bite his finger here and say, had I known, which shall never be known.
We talk a lot about institutional reforms, and I saw it coming here. If institutions are strong, they can be used by politicians or manipulated by politicians to do the wrong things. Like Jammeh's regime we've done. The immigration was abused and told to do things that they know that was unlawful, like registering people, giving cards to Gambians. He's trying to say that, can we believe that the Gambia Immigration Department, knowing fully well that this process included, will involve fraudulently issuing Gambian documents to dubious applicants? Do you think the immigration with full knowledge will be complicit in that?
Well, corruption can drive people to do things. Of course, I don't have the facts. I cannot point today. I'm in the media. I cannot say Mr. X. I know he's complicit. Then I would have said definitely yes. But the general perception, the general feeling, looking at the investigative reports that have come out,
which is our next topic,
which has shown, and even the audit has come out and showed that passports were being issued. I remember publishing an article on one of the audits that over 70 different passports was issued without going through the due process. Some of these people, some of them, they are non-Gambian. Some of them, they are definitely should have those documents, but they did not even provide the backup, the required information to access it. I don't know if you get what I mean. So to get these documents, you have to provide information, and that is what they use to grant this document. So knowing what I know, definitely, I cannot put it beyond that. That is a possibility.
You can't put past them.
Yes, I cannot be the one on the line to say, because we are journalists. We work with intelligence and information. I would like him to reveal some more information so that we can take it and
he's lucky that the NPP is not here.
It's not here.
But
those are some of the things that I think we must realize that are happening. How do we put in measures in place to make sure that those things don't happen? These are the important issues that this government has a challenge to. And as long as enough safeguards are not in place, that even if you want to rig the system, you cannot, then it's susceptible. Look, for almost, I reported about because we were following the government. There was a long time documents were not even, you cannot even get documents in this country.
Get receipts and get
11 months.
For almost a year.
11 months, or complete 11 months.
Yeah, definitely.
You see? So for me, the fact that we were in such a situation, and from that, we just shift now, we're even issuing documents abroad. Warning flags are going off. I hope National Assembly members scrutinize this issue.
Absolutely. They have a role.
They have a role to play.
Yeah, this is
National Assembly members to talk for my caucus and invite the Interior Minister.
They need to.
Over this matter.
Yes.
This matter, yes. We told them to do so.
Or even submit a parliamentary question. Parliamentary questions. Every Wednesday, parliamentarians have ministers come in. They can submit a parliamentary question. Summon him, let him come and explain what is going on. Because clearly, for me personally, my alarm bells are on. I have not seen the facts yet.
The opposition said it's dubious.
They
said
you cannot see, this is a game
let's allow him to go. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So according to you, even on the account of the security of our documents and then the sudden capacity and willingness to give the ID cards to people in the region and not vote the vote to the people in diaspora is suspicious.
Yeah, it is.
He's trying to say that he saw within the same scheme a plan now to say, okay, why don't we allow diaspora vote That's people in the West, particularly. But then before we do that, let us, as much as possible, register a lot of people we deem to be our supporters within the regions, so that perhaps will deflect or maybe outweigh the number we probably will register in the. That's what he's trying.
Yeah.
A politician who claims.
He
said he know the strategies. Now let's move on to the Republic, the online investigative portal, which yesterday or 2 days ago came out with a very well investigated piece, which is really revealing some of the aspects that we probably didn't know before on the sale of the assets of former President Yahya Jammeh. Well, to summarize, basically they're trying to say that a lot of things that were sold were improperly disposed of. There were allegations of conflict of interest that they have gone in a long way to highlight. But I mean, the reception or the reaction of the people to it is really quite overwhelming. What do you make?
I think it's a very important publication, which should spark at least a parliamentary inquiry. Because I wouldn't even trust the executive to take.
Given that some of them
are also involved.
Some current and
previous.
Ex-officials in the executive are implicated.
Yes. But I mean, I'm not surprised. I don't think anybody is surprised because of what has happened with the Jammeh Commission and the whistle blowing with Kurang.
Muhammad Kurang
have done. And we've seen ever since that some of the corruption that has come out of it with regards to the sale of the assets. I mean, many people have seen these images of some of these assets, some of them dilapidated out there, others, there's been a lot of controversy. Even advocates and activists have bought 1-2 vehicle or something like that,
really?
Yeah, without calling names.
So the article tried to show that materials were sold for a fraction of what they would have cost, because this is only possible because they were intended for friends of the people who make decisions as to what to sell and what price they will sell. So it painted a picture of it's just things been distributed among friends.
Yes. I understand that the government needs to sell these assets because they depreciate over time. The value goes down if you just leave them to
except in the case of land.
Except in the case of land, exactly. That the value goes up. Properties like houses, building, and those kind of things, the value just goes up. Now, with the depreciative assets, that's where I was focusing on.
Okay.
I can understand government's willingness to sell it quickly, but it's clearly wasn't done transparently. Let me give you an example. We've seen, everybody here, if you go on your news feed, you will see that the American embassy was saying that they are going to call an auction. Every now and then you see auction.
Auction, yeah.
They issue a public statement.
Yeah.
This is the assets,
Yeah.
or these things are going to be sold.
Auction. People
Or even
know about it.
They even give 2 days sometimes.
Sometimes
First
week or
day,
two, yeah.
there's a day to come and see,
And see,
and there's another
they
day
call it viewing.
for selling.
Yeah.
You understand? But have you seen any such thing? And let me tell you, there's what you call asset management recovery commission
Corporation.
or whatever
Corporation,
we have that is in this country that is supposed to be doing these
That
things.
could have handled it much better.
But clearly no transparency. This is why this publication has to come out and has to reveal. If you don't reveal these things, because of every single time, Honorable Almami Jiba is asking the question in Parliament about Jammeh's assets. So this is already a parliamentary inquiry. You understand? For me now, though, is to go further. Perhaps Jiba, obviously, he will be asking it to find out how his boss's assets are being kept. Some of us want to know how they are being sold.
I've seen, in fact, a common ground between the rival factions of the APRC on this matter. They seem to be speaking on
Don't touch Jammeh's assets. Give it back to him.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, but us now, we want to sell it and make sure Gambia gets enough value rather than those assets depreciate.
Okay. Yeah.
They should sell them.
In the position.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I can see
because
they are questioning the sale
at all.
Whereas the majority of Gambians did not object to the selling, but
the process. Most of governments are concerned that the process was not transparent, and we are not getting value for our assets. That these are Gambian assets.
Absolutely.
You know, it is. Let's not fool ourselves. It's clearly shown how the president, when he came into power, with perhaps in debt, if you could say, and left with trying to get two full cargo of vehicles to come with him with all kind of. Come on, those things are the country's assets, but it's unfortunate. I'm not surprised.
I mean, if you look at the price, the price is quoted in the article, you know, at which some of these articles were sold. I mean, it was, it's pittance, we call it. Some people paid pittance for what would have cost a fortune, for example. You see, Jammeh's customized vehicles that are customized in his name or his children's name, very expensive Rolls Royce and stuff like that. And tractors. I mean, over 100 tractors were sold for. And
those 100 tractors are very, very important, because of those 100 tractors, had they been used properly. Yes, and some of these assets,
200
we have taken loans and we will be paying them. I don't know whether we've even finished paying some of these loans. Yes, these tractors in particular.
Yeah,
you understand? So now, what was that supposed to do? That was supposed to help us to move from subsistence farming to mechanized farming.
Maybe we distributed to farming.
This was what was supposed to happen.
Instead of selling them, you give it to the.
Yes. Even if the government did a study and looked at which farmers have capacity to move up that require these tractors, they do a short feasibility. It shouldn't take them forever, and then and give these tractors to them, so that they will be also providing food. And then now government can say, but now when you are providing food, you sell it at so and so prices, because of
it's a way of
subventing. This is what other countries do. This is what countries who want to feed their population.
Subsidizing.
They do. They will subsidize it through assets, through funds or whatever, and then government will have a say when you are going to sell those things. You bring the prices down, so that so that way you bring help.
Are you members of your party implicated in this let me see, in this Jammeh asset sale? The report is suggesting that senior government officials, some of them could be UDP.
Now, you know, if that was the case, Barrow would not even call for a grand ruling coalition. It would be enough for him to have a lot of campaign words.
If they are very well known UDP figures,
Mile 2 would have been
benefiting from the sales.
Mile 2 would have been full at capacity today. So, but my point on this is, this is very clear that there are dubious activities that has occurred during the sale of these Jammeh assets, and that's why you see a lot of hatred against Hussein Dabo. If you yes, no, I'm coming.
Why would you connect with hatred?
Connect me. Yeah, I can connect you to Hussein Dabo's issue on these issues. You know, Hussein Dabo he like justice in every dealing.
Justice,
yes. He liked justice in every dealings as far as it is public.
That's but some of these things he was in the government when the Jammeh Commission was here.
Yeah, but government also
didn't he know about it?
No, government is ruled by law. That's why you could, if you recall, Ibrahim Cisse, the former secretary to cabinet, there was a kind of dispute within the MPP during 2023 or 2022, if I could recall. He released an audio challenging them that even Barrow, telling him that Barrow knows he knows. Maimuna Cisse knows, and then is it Maimuna Cisse or his sister?
Others knows.
Yes.
Should they lose, they will go to prison.
Lose the election, they would have been.
They had a room of that.
Blinking their eyes on each other like Bakum Fajirong when their heads will be rolling at Mile 2. Having been saying Dabo won.
So you mean that's a confession of what?
It's a confession of what happened. If you connect Kurang arguments in the public, you listen to Ibrahim Cisse's that statement, the utterance against Hussein Dabo. You know they don't hate him because of Hussein Dabo, but because there was something that transpired, and it was during that Jammeh Commission issues. So Dabo asked them, why should they do that? Why would that happen? And he demanded accountability from them. So they were scared. From there they started the Simia. Henry Gomez might be watching this program. He called me. There are a lot of things he told me about Dabo, but none of them is in public interest. It's all about how Dabo perceived them and what steps he want to use to block the selfish gains they are doing, including the unnecessary per diems. He said this to my face. He said, as a young person like me, he left the Balula, where you are is a wrong place. That's why he used it. So that tells me directly that these people, they will not be comfortable as long as Hussein Dabo is within them. So the Jammeh Commission, implicating senior government officials, is a manifestation of how corrupt Barrow is. Not Barrow as a government.
But Barrow was, at the time, I had very little control, and I mean, when the commission, about the commission.
Who established the commission?
Yes, the government, led by him.
Okay. Who should hold
the direct procedure?
No, direct procedure. I'm just saying interference.
Interference
is after process is two different things. You set up a commission to bring justice to the citizens of this country, and within that process, there's injustice. What should you do as a leader?
After knowing it.
After knowing it, and he knew it.
No, how he didn't know?
No, he knew
maybe
it.
articles like this one.
Using the word maybe. I know you are just using.
No, maybe he didn't know.
No. Maybe you are using. It just means that.
I didn't see anywhere they said.
What I'm trying to.
Barrow bought something.
I'm not saying Lamin said or Lamin says. I'm telling you what is fact and real on the ground.
But Barrow didn't personally buy anything.
But whether he personally buy anything or not, but this country is under Barrow's leadership today.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is that that commission, anything that transpired there, senior government officials and close aides of Barrow are the beneficiaries of Jammeh's assets. From his the cattle group sold, and then the vehicles, anything that was sold, it is directly an enabler of Barrow today who benefited from it. And Barrow knew that very well. But no, let me tell you this thing. Let the Jammeh Commission make Jammeh poor, make Gambian citizens very poor, but make Barrow and his enablers very rich today. Very rich today. So it's not a surprise for me to hear that there are senior government officials implicated in it. I don't know how extent, because I did not read the full report of the Republican. Yeah. But what I can know, it is not a news to me. I knew it before. I knew it from them, and I know there were malpractices that happened because this government's corrupt track record is on the wall for everybody to know. And that tells you that anybody who wanted to say Jammeh Commission did a good job, but anyway, Barrow is not involved in Barrow is fully involved. I think Barrow is not involved. Let me tell you, the Fisheries Ministry, I will not end this to only Jammeh Commission, was born here in 2019 December. Lami, you and I, we all knew. When that Barrow established, the minister at the time went to National Assembly around December. He said they will establish a task force to investigate. The task force was set for 3 months. They investigated and laid the report before Barrow. When he saw the report, he put his foot on it.
How do you know?
If he doesn't put his foot on it, it will have this is a taxpayer money task force.
But didn't the report come out to say the minister doesn't have any role?
This minister doesn't have any role.
Yeah, the former minister.
Did you see the report? Because Standard is very good in publication. But I've never seen you publish that one.
No, I mean, we didn't see report, but I heard from press that the
I'm not saying hearsay. I'm saying the report, the commission, the task force that was set to investigate in case. And you had a PRO.
Yeah, you are talking about this, the arson. Sorry, whether it's an arson or the fire incident.
The fire incident.
I'm not sure whether it's an arson.
Whether it's no, it's not. It's a deliberate act of a corrupt person to hide evidence, to destroy evidence. Because the PRO of the Gambia Fire and Rescue Service said that where the fire started, one brings suspicion. Why would the ministry start and wait the fire to burn the ministry almost over 1 hour until destroying every fact
before asking for intervention?
Before asking for the fire service to come and investigate. Okay. So that tells you that somebody is behind it. So the Jammeh Commission is just on top of the many corruption. Go to the ecological hotels today in Bara. Ecology. So in my own URL. So the Sotoma, they built one there. I can tell they said a bushfire came from the bush to jump into that building. Doesn't touch any wall, but directly go and burn the roof.
Fire come by itself.
My brother. That is this brother. So you, the same government.
Never tell people.
The same government. There's audit report here. The current National Disaster Management. The current National Disaster Management. They are director.
Yes, that one I thought.
So
the audit
almost
It should be reform. It should refund. It should be made to refund.
Not only for reform, but there was an investigation also that says that let him go and sit down at home.
Yeah, that's
administrative leave.
Yeah.
Do they do it?
Yeah, that's
Huh?
that.
And in that one, almost 300 bags of sugar, according to him, was given only to.
No, but now we're talking now about this Jammeh assets.
Jammeh, is it not Jammeh asset? Is it Gambian asset? It's not Jammeh asset.
I know.
These are all Gambian assets. I said I'm not going to limit myself to that one.
Jammeh assets.
Jammeh has done what he did. Barrow promised that he's going to correct what Jammeh has done. Barrow is doing more worse. So I'm not going to limit myself to only that Jammeh commission.
Right.
I'm telling you,
Let's
see that
move
Barrow
on.
is a problem.
Okay.
The accomplished senior civil servants in it,
Yeah.
they are aided and abetted by Barrow because if he told them his product is going to destroy. So he rather maintain them and cover it for him to succeed in politics than to safeguard government people's resources. So the corrupt is from Barrow, not anybody else. I blame Barrow for it.
I see your point. Let's finally wrap up with press freedom and, of course, the transitional justice event that happened in the United States, where you come from, Taylor, which you covered so impressively, the trial of Sankora. You gave us real-time reportage and analysis of how the case was heading. We know, of course, it's been convicted on 5 counts now.
Yeah, 6 actually.
6 actually.
Yes,
I thought
5
the 6th
other
one
people.
I thought the 6th one was dropped.
Yes,
It was 7.
it was 7.
Oh, it was 7.
Yes,
Okay, the
it
7th one was dropped.
Yes.
Now that he's been convicted on all these accounts, we're told each account may carry, an imprisonment of up to 20 years.
Yes.
How can what is coming next? In America they have
Differences.
sentencing and other things.
Yes.
But for example, is there any chance for him to appeal?
Yes. There is an opportunity for appeal. Right to appeal is enshrined in their laws. So anybody who is convicted, you have a chance, you have a right to appeal.
Okay.
It's possible that he could do that, but sure, that will have to come after the sentencing. So in the US, the way they do it is the jury gives the verdict, guilty or not, based on the evidence that is provided. And they will receive instructions from the judge in how they received instructions from the judge in how they did it. It was a 12-man jury, member jury. So actually, it did not take them very long.
Yes, because
to deliberate.
That's what people were
Yes.
saying. Okay, let's hear from you then.
Yes. No, we feel free to interject. Let's
Well,
make
yeah,
this
because people
interesting.
are saying, how come it's, I mean, a major trial like that took only a few weeks in America,
Very important.
when we spend years here talking about trials.
That's a very important point. The reason is because of these people don't play around, and they are very professional. They come on Monday morning, 8:30. Yeah, court is started. If you are not there around 8:30, forget it. You are late. We can come in. Don't get it wrong. But they will go until around 11:10 or 10, and then they will have a 30-minute break. They will go up until around 12, and then they will have a 45 or 1 hour minute break. 1 hour break. And the court ends at 3. They were doing this consistently, no playing around, every single day until for the first week, they had 4 days. They were so much on track that they said Friday, day off. Just to give you an idea. The Monday when they came, the Monday was the last proper day, and then the verdict was the next day. So no adjournments. Judge is not here.
Yeah,
this one is not here. They are very serious about it. So that's one of the main reasons why.
The justice delayed is justice denied.
Exactly. And this is some of the reasons that came out in when Seth Matijao's group talked about the judiciary. And, access to justice is a problem in Gambia. And our judiciary must open up to this.
Well, they
have to accept it.
They criticized
we all saw them. Any criticism you criticize the government, even if you do it academically, they're not open to it, and that will not help them improve. But this is the fact. These are the realities, and people are watching. They are seeing the judiciary have to step up because of eventually we're going to have to take leadership. Now, with regards to sentencing. The judge was trying to, and the prosecutor and the defense, they were trying to look into their calendar. August was touted as to when they would, but it seemed like August was tight for the defense lawyer. So it might happen later on in the year, after August. On that day is when they will look at sentencing. I don't know how many days it will take, but it shouldn't take long. It shouldn't be more than a week, I don't assume. And then when the sentencing comes, He is currently got guilty verdict for 6 counts. And the 6 counts are like this. 1 count is for conspiracy to torture. Then the other 5 counts are the 5 victims. These 5 victims, I'm sure some of them you will know. Dembadem is the only
former National Assembly member.
Faring Sanyang, former state guard commander.
I knew Faris, I know.
You have Tamsir Jammeh.
Oh yeah, very well known.
Yes.
Tam. It was
You have
Director of Immigration and
exactly
Economy.
Yaya Dabo.
Yeah, Dabo, I knew.
Yes.
I know him.
And then there is one more person who I've just
These
slipped
were
my mind.
direct torture victims.
Yes, these are the direct torture
Korea.
victims. Yes, who and yes, Per Mendy.
Per Mendy.
Per Mendy was not physically there, but he had died in 2020.
Yeah.
So Per Mendy, all these witnesses, they were coming and they were giving statement. So for each of these counts, he can attract 20 years is the maximum. Now the judge can decide, is it, these lawyers, and this is where my knowledge stops. I'm coming
your
out to the law.
expertise stop.
They can say concurrently
Or consecutively.
or consecutively.
Yeah.
So there's a massive difference. If they say 5 years, 20 years concurrently, it's just like you have
Just
20
like
years.
20
You're
years.
serving them all at the
All
same
together.
time. If they say consecutively,
That's
then
right. That's
that can be
impossible in a lifetime.
120 years
That's not a
maximum he could. So these are all things that will come in
that
on
would
the
be
sentence.
effectively a life.
It's effectively a life
sentence.
sentence, yes. So those are some of the things that we would see. Certainly, we look after August, and I would certainly be reporting on it. I'm still in touch with them.
Okay.
I don't think we would be traveling to the US for that.
Why not? Yeah.
But if they send us there, that will be fine. But I don't think
that's
that we're doing
Okay.
that.
So that's how it go. And then, how to call it? Do you think is there a possibility for him or his lawyers to overturn these things?
With the repeal, appeal, yes, but his only defense
It's weak.
was very weak, and it did not have any substance. And then he might struggle to appeal it, or to turn this around, because this judge was very smart. They gave them a lot of time so that they will not say, "Oh, we were not given a chance to build up our defense." In fact, the whole case was delayed from last year
from April
to this year,
and
the reason,
November.
Yes, and the reason why it was delayed is very important, and it tells in this court case. Why? They apparently were to travel to Gambia to meet up with 2 people.
The defense team.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of them is Haidara, who is
Haidara was
the
mentioned.
jar oil
Yeah.
guy right now.
He was Deputy Director General.
And then he was in the
Deputy Director General.
in the intelligence agency.
Yeah, Deputy Director
So
General.
now, and there was another guy, I think something Jeng. Yes. Now these people. So these people wanted immunity.
Yeah.
So yes.
They were not sure that they wouldn't be arrested in America when they go there.
So what is important is that these people traveled all the way
To come here.
and get depositions.
Yes, they could
But
not.
the important thing is those depositions were not tendered in court.
Oh,
So,
really?
yes. So it
Because-
tells you that the lawyers, the defense team,
Yeah.
looked at it and said that these depositions will not help our case. Because they did not even build a case. Korea did not come to testify, neither did those same depositions which caused the delay. They were not used in trial.
My goodness.
They didn't bring them, they didn't tender them.
So the prosecution will say, we have given you time.
You see, so these are some of the things that when it comes to appeal, they will certainly be looking. Did the judge give them all the chance to make their... The judge did. These people traveled, wasted the court's time, and they did not use none of those depositions. Those things might count against Korea if he's trying to do any appeal.
I see.
Yeah, his defense was weak. The whole time the argument was that he was coerced into torturing. Well, Faring Sanyang, who was then state commander, said that he refused to torture Deda Haidara twice. To the risk, at the third time, when he refused, a state car crash almost took his life. Highlighting that.
Stage managed.
Yes, it was a staged car crash. They crashed on him. So the third time. So now, what that shows, right, in the court, remember all of this was playing in the court, was that, yes, this environment was very difficult. But there were some people like Faring Sanyang who said, who refused. And they suffered a lot. And in fact, you were one of those people who tortured those same people like Faring Sanyang.
That's what happened to him in Sankora.
So his defense was torn to shreds.
So they told him, he in fact tortured Faring Sanyang.
Yes, he tortured Faring Sanyang. The type of torture that they put on Faring Sanyang, some of it, you cannot even...
The junglers, the period between the coup attempt, right down, let's say from 2004, right down to maybe 2003, with the attempted murder on Usman Silla, right down to the coup attempt of 2006, the freedom thing, they were very active in those days. In those days, during that period, they tortured a lot of people.
Very brutal. I know journalists will be very, very happy with Faring Sanyang, at least encouraged that, he refused, and not only that, to the risk of his life, he even refused to join the junglers, because he said that the junglers are doing illegal things.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, the situation was that difficult, but still.
So what is the significance of this trial on the overall a huge remnant of justice, a transitional justice case in the Gambia, especially the special tribunal in the Gambia? It's yet to start. People are saying the junglers are walking up streets. So wouldn't this put pressure on the government now to speed up matters?
In fact, that has been the biggest question people were asking us, that they don't see the same urgency in the Gambia, and that, especially Malik Jatta, they keep saying that he's driving around in a taxi. A lot of people have been saying these things. Now, it's government needs to act quickly, because of universal jurisdiction shows there's precedence. And if somebody like that can be convicted, the same precedence can be used to go ahead and prosecute these same individuals. Now, also, it's important to highlight that UJ is also very important, because some of these people are clearly, they are trying to escape the jurisdiction. Yes, and the more they are in this limbo where we give them this opportunity to sort of escape, when you need to prosecute them, or by the time you get your house in order to do the prosecution, where are they? Now you are relying on another country to extradite Mr. X or Mr. Y. And depending on which country they go to, they may not extradite them. But we are very much aware that there are still others outside this country.
A lot more.
Yes, who need to be dealt with and arranged, even abroad. And you never know.
Many people said
there might be another.
Many people said
case.
What these trials, these overseas trials, really doing is that the accused people might even be more comfortable coming to the Gambia than to go elsewhere, because they think perhaps they will have a better deal in the Gambia.
Indeed. And I mean, it's worrying, because of what we're doing is we're allowing an environment which could cause chaos in the country. And these things, if you are not proactive and you let them go ahead, and the fact is money needs to be spent there. Government needs to put their money where their mouth is. We cannot depend on the United States to fund our justice process.
The recent Donald Trump
we cannot.
decisions have come to say that.
We have to say, look, this thing has to be dealt with. Now, of course, lawyers are the ones who benefit a lot from these things and those kind of things. But I think that they need to fast track reparations, they need to fast track prosecutions, and then we will get never again.
My party caused a lot of controversy here when he said he thinks that the $4 billion that has been earmarked for the trial of Jammeh and his courts would be better spent on reparations for the victims. He came under criticism just for saying that. But what do you make of it? He seemed to have a point on, in some way.
I'm not very happy with my party's statement, because for me it just highlights that the government continues to push reparations and prosecution further down its priority list. I mean, These reparations should have been paid since
Long time ago.
long time ago. We shouldn't even be talking about reparations right now.
Absolutely. I remember former Attorney General said they have put $300 million aside from the sales of Jammeh's assets.
Whereas, where is that
At
money?
Central Bank. He said, in fact, it is proper that Jammeh's victims got compensated from his assets proceeds.
You see?
He said it, 300 million.
And there is
If
even
he had left it there, well, the government continued to spend it elsewhere.
you see, and there is even more money that is supposed to come because of last year or so, 1 or 2 years ago, the American ambassador gave a pledge
That
that
the
the Potomac mansion, which is how much million
$3 million.
dollars.
Yeah.
Now that if you translate that to Gambian dollars,
That's
how
right.
much millions of dollars is that? Is
I'll be quiet.
Huh?
Close to 200 million.
look, let them not play around. Stop playing around with Gambians.
And what the government said, they are actually waiting for the establishment of a reparations commission, which has been done now.
And even that reparations commission, for me, from what I've seen,
Yes.
this reparations commission, this
Yes.
government is not serious about it.
Well,
and I'll tell you why.
They've just sworn in the
They
commission.
are not serious. Well, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
This government is very unserious about the reparations commission because
Yeah.
if you look, every single year, I look at the budget and I find out what is in there for the victims. Now, government every single year they would promise 100 million, 75 million, and guess what? The same year, this year that they have,
Put the reparations commission.
they want to give them 20 million, 30 million.
20 million.
Yes, 20 million, 30 million. You go there, it's in the budget. So what does that tell me? Look,
That
this
is for
government is
sending
not serious.
allowances and fuels.
This government is not serious
About reparations.
about the reparation, and I'm going to call them out for it. You cannot tell us. This government has been playing a very dangerous and a very bad game with the victims, which I'm going to expose today.
Absolutely.
Every single year, you are saying 100 million, 75 million, and then you put that in the budget. And then you come and you say, oh, we cannot give them that money because there's no commission. That's what the government was saying.
Yes.
For 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
Finally, the year that you create a reparations commission, you give them the lowest ever
20
amount.
million.
20, 30 million.
Which is going to sitting allowances and fuel.
You see,
For-
there is an amount, there's an element in that 30 million, and I was talking to a commissioner, one of them, and they said that it's 40. But I am going with the official, what is in the budget. And obviously, if I get information from one of those commissioners, at least I can say that, yes, this is a credible information. But the budget right now, it stipulates an amount that is to be used for victims. Yeah, it doesn't even call it reparations. It says victim support.
There you go.
You see, and then the rest of it is like you said, operating cost, and those kind of things. So,
But the government said they are going out to look for money for partners, to come and do the reparations.
no, reparations should not be done.
And then they do not budget this from the monies that we generate ourselves locally, which is the money they use for for their personal emoluments and stuff like that.
I'm very disappointed to hear the government say that they are going to look for partners.
Yes, partners.
No partners. If I have the opportunities, no partners should pay for no victim reparation.
Well, that's
Victim
it.
reparation should come from the Gambians.
The money is generated by them.
And we've already said that there are proceeds that are being sold.
Exactly.
Bring that money, pay the victim. Reparations. And I know we're taking time, but we need to look at it holistically. There is an element of paying back. When a victim gets the money from the proceeds that was sold of Jammeh's assets, that in itself is a form of reparation.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
It's not just any money.
Yeah. But the money that's came from the guy who inflicted that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
His assets sold and then given to victims.
That's what former Attorney General Batambedu said. They have raised 300 million and put aside for reparations.
The last time
Nobody knows what
I
happened.
don't trust Batambedu. The last time he said that and I was there, the first 50 million when they announced it to be given to victims.
Yeah.
They said that they are giving this 50 million and that the government,
Yes.
in fact, Senegal was implicated.
Yes, that was from the sale
On
of
that,
the
yes,
wood,
50
the
million.
sale of the wood,
Yes.
rosewood.
And that the government was supposed to
Yeah.
do likewise
give another 50 million. So that first 50 million, apparently, from what most of people like me, we suspect it comes from the government of Senegal. It's not coming from Gambia government. And the Gambia government was supposed to match that.
In fact, it was publicly made that it was a donation from Senegal.
So the Gambia government was supposed to match that.
It didn't match.
Now, so what that is telling us that Senegalese government is the one who has the 50 million that we've seen, the first 50 million.
That it was publicly announced that it's from Senegal.
They were embarrassed. That's why he said that they will match it. But guess what? Since then,
nothing.
They have not matched $1. This government is not serious
about victims
at all.
Finally, your word there before we go to the latest rank on press freedom. What do you make of the Sankora very quickly? And the reparations?
Anyway, for Sankora's matter, for me, I just want to make it a kind of an advice general to Gambian people.
Yes.
Because Sankora is a Gambian. At the time when those revolutions were made, the same Gambians were saying, Jammeh will not do that. This will not happen. It cannot happen. Gambians cannot do this. Some were even alleging that if it is happening, in fact, there are non-Gambians being hired to do so, mercenaries. But it happened to be something that we all knew now with facts that these were our own brothers and sisters in uniform who were definitely killing ourselves, killing their own brothers and sisters also in a cold-blood manner. So when I was following the reports, particularly from Mr. Yusuf, sometimes it's touching when I heard the witnesses been talking about how they were being handled, particularly them also. I was really on tears that day.
Honestly.
But at the same time, during that, when that passed, it came to my mind that the arm of justice is long.
It's long.
You cannot run away from justice today. We are in a global village. So and then power, no matter how powerful you are, power one day will come to an end. So the activities you have done in serving your people could definitely be a reward for you if you do it good. But definitely could also turn to be a kind of a hellfire for you if you happen to forget about the life after power. So that brought me to a case recently I was following, and I wrote on my Facebook page. The governor Sidi Lamin Ba of LRR. Allegedly, his own personnel, in his own presence, tortured a young Gambian, beat him, even threatened to kill him because they would only serve 7 months in jail.
That's a serious allegation.
It's a serious no. And this
let's give examples without saying names. And
no. This is a fact. No, this is a fact. As a journalist, you can follow.
Okay.
You can go to the Mansakongo police station.
Or you'll
find the case there. You can come to the the Human Rights Commission. You'll find the report there.
Okay.
So the gentleman was threatened for doing his work, and this was a kind of according to them, according to what I got. I don't get the Sidla Bar side yet, but what he told me is that there was an agreement between him and them that the trees caught there, and then he will use those trees because Sidla Bar is also building a house at Jarasoma. Then
no, I don't want to go to those specific allegations. Let's stop at the example that power abuse lead to punishment tomorrow.
Abuse, this one is in public, but nonetheless, it's an advice because the same people in uniform has beaten that boy seriously. Even pointed a gun to his head, threatening to kill him if you go otherwise. And the reward is that I'm going to only serve for 7 months in jail. This is what according to him he said. But why I'm mentioning it here because it is before the police. According to him, he has reported it, and it's before the commission, the Human Rights Commission. That's why I'm mentioning it here. Generally, every Gambian should know core. If you are serving in uniform, you are serving not an individual person, but the country. So the interest of the country should be supreme.
Absolutely.
No matter how dictatorial we are in, that should not let you to jeopardize your own future.
Absolutely.
Because the person you are meddling that maltreatment on, you could maybe kill or do any harm. But tomorrow, the bigger consequences you will be facing it, not him.
Exactly.
Because if you die, you go. So if you are anyway unable, you are disabled, no problem. But you the one who do that one. Tomorrow, you your family, how are they going to see you? Your children, your mother, your father could not expect for you to do that. So if you come to the public domain like that one, it's not only stopping at you, but your family will be traumatized. But it's unexpected. So my advice
all
is
learn from
exactly we should all learn from this and make sure that we forge ahead. We will not agree on the same things, but our disagreement should not be a kind of a form of creating an enmity between ourselves. Because the Gambia would definitely be face a serious threat of these kind of things, which definitely I don't think any serious citizen should be for. That's my just take. And I
finally,
Taylor for his good job.
Today is the Press Freedom, World Press Freedom Day. The Gambia Press Union, as we speak, is conducting a forum or events.
I was just coming from there.
And you just come from there. How have we fared in terms of rankings, press freedom in the Gambia this year?
That's a very, very important question. We've been hearing the president talking about the press. My brother has talked about that even during his deliberations. Well, I was at the press freedom engagement.
Yes.
And you know me, sometimes when I get to some places when I feel that some information is not coming out. So I had to even interrupt at one point to say that we are currently ranked 11.
11?
Yes. So
we are now currently...
We are now 11.
In the world ranking.
Before we were 10th.
10?
In Africa.
10
in the whole of Africa.
Then we are 11th.
11th. And in the whole of Africa, we are 11th. Before last year, we were 10th.
Okay.
But what is important, overall, worldwide, we maintain number 58.
Worldwide, we
are still 58. Last year, we were 58. This year, we are 58.
I see.
Yes. Now,
and this means, let's analyze and explain the maths here.
Exactly. This is the important thing.
The less you score, the better your record.
Yes.
So if we were 10 last year in Africa,
yes,
we are 11 this year in Africa, means we have dropped 1 point.
Yes, we want to be first, the best.
We should have been
in ranked in
we should have been the first 10.
Yes, which is what the government and Dr. Cisse is trying to get us.
Now we are promoted to the second 10.
Yes, yes.
What do you think could have led to this?
Yes, they've given some explanations. In fact, I'm just coming through doing some of it. One of the challenges which they've highlighted is that in the economic environment for the media is a challenge.
I see. Yes. The economic environment.
So they have various indicators.
Why
they have political indicator.
What has government to do with that?
Yeah. So within the whole subsidies, for example, some governments can provide subsidies in the right way. Which, for example, was done through the COVID-19. It's not only just providing subsidies, but subsidies have to be used in a way that they don't subject the media to this crab in a barrel,
to be
rush to be yes off to the exact yes. So, for example, the COVID-19 way, where funds was dispersed through the media with GPU, you did not see that like. The government does not sit down and say, "Oh, I like these 5 media houses."
Unlike the 40 million.
Yes, you see. So these are some of the challenges which we have, and then some of the worrying things which I know my brother probably will be interested to say is RSF in their report is saying there is no political will to protect journalists by adopting laws that safeguard their interests.
This is what
Yes, this is what they are saying. They gave examples and instances. In October 2024, the editor-in-chief of the newspaper, The Voice, Musa Sharif, was arrested and then summoned before the High Court. So this is all happening in the Gambia.
And we told the government when they had this trouble with The Voice that, look, you know what? We think the government is start to lose more than this thing. Because you said, okay, The Voice is causing disruption and disunity in my party by causing confusion. We said, look, if you go to court as a president and people ask, what has the journalist done? They said, they've just reported that you are grooming a success. You say that's an everyday occurrence.
Everybody they report that in other countries every day.
I told the government, and I'm glad when they had us, they know we are making sense.
Exactly.
Because it's only going to put them into a bad light.
And this is what it's done.
That's what reflecting.
That's exactly what reporters without borders are saying.
We told them.
And you warned them, but they didn't seem to hear. And then I hope that they do another thing which has not showed up, and we are looking forward now because we have almost got 5 months. No, in the 5th month. Certainly, Keba and Sumane's situation will affect. If it continues, those things will show up. We will go further down. Then we've just passed a law, the Criminal Offences Bill, where they have put false publication and this Saturday clauses. Now, all of those things will bring us down if we because of those things have been passed this year, so they don't reflect in the ranking this year. If they continue, if they don't drop the charges against Keba and Sumaneh, or they try to and he's prosecuted, and something happens, for example, this will also affect us. But let's also put things in, be fair to the government. They have passed the access to information law, and me myself, I have even made use of it to put out publications. So the law does work. Of some institutions,
well,
they are different. Some institutions are different.
Saying that they are going to do conduct an assessment to see how prepared are the public institutions.
I've been pushing the commission, and the commission have been trying, or they are trying to establish themselves. So, but we just want to be fair to say that those are some of the other things which have been highlighted that Gambia has, which perhaps other countries don't have, which is why we are 10 in that ranking. We are better than Senegal, way better than Senegal, but Senegal have improved. Last year, they were 24th. They improved,
in Africa?
Yes, they improved by 9 places. They have
this year they are in Africa.
They have shot up. This year, they have now shot up to, let's see, 15th.
15th in Africa?
Yes, from 24th in Africa.
Despite all what we are hearing from Senegal.
But Senegal, you remember, they've got a new leadership, and they've been opening up with the media. That was what was affecting them. But because of this, their new leadership, and I know still.
But even the new leadership come under criticism for cracking down on opposition journalists and opposition. Right now, an opposition journalist is in detention.
Yes, I've heard about those things. I've heard about those things. But certainly, I haven't done the thorough analysis like I did with Gambia. Perhaps if I had done that, I would have been able to qualify a little bit more. But certainly the case of Gambia, and I just wanted to highlight Senegal. And like I said, we have to be fair to Gambia government. I have said a lot of negatives, but we're even better than Senegal. Senegal is 15th. We are currently 11.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, but they have tried. They have tried.
Yes.
They've tried tremendously.
Yes.
Right. That's our current ranking in the World Freedom ranking, according to Reporters Sans Frontières, that global organization that looks at freedom of expression in the world. Thank you very much, Yusuf Tello, the editor of Ask and We, for bringing us up to speed on that, as well as the trial of Michael Sankora and his insightful analysis of other issues on today's menu. Hagi Suwaneh, Youth President of the Opposition United Democratic Party, thank you very much for your controversial views on matters political.
Program.
For the NPP, I will urge you to honor invitations and put across.
Are they running
away?
Let them come up and platforms, and then we have, they have an opportunity to hear from them. Thank you very much for all of you who've been watching the brunch. I'm Lavin Cham. Goodbye for now.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, Takaful Fund, management of Zakat, management of Awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Jammeh Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jammeh, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jammeh Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Bruceby opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited or email us at info@jammehmt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jammeh Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jammeh Money Transfer.
Agada.
Mbijan aganyadi.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay. Korsa. Nsila ID soto.
Ah, sasa ndo. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Ah,
mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Ah, jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Ka birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Ka Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kodo kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi topoto nin kodi maraw jannom number 1 di nyonta andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale le dadi ma nin domorol dil fana beteat Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je
wo moy odiat
apelenta
baraka ni na lafta nyelen kendol e bina
yalo bu kanila ko la baraka ba
yalo ndel ciosano lo
baraka